Hey, how you doing today? I am Taquila Coleman. In today's video, I want to speak to those of you who are feeling like your God ordained spouse is taking advantage of you. You might be asking God, like, why do I have to continue to sit here and go through this when they clearly don't see my value, right? I want to speak to those of you who are thinking this way, and maybe you have been praying to God concerning these things, and I want to share with you exactly what God just spoke to me. So while I was out driving, I was praying while I was driving, and it's like God interrupt my prayers, and um, I heard Him say, "They're not taking advantage of you. They feel unworthy." And so I'm here today to remind you, your spouse isn't taking advantage of you. What you're dealing with here is feelings of unworthiness, feeling not good enough, feeling like they don't deserve the best because they're used to, what's familiar. They're used to the abuse, the mistreatment, being devalued. These are the things that your spouse are used to. And because they recognize your value, let me just say that they recognize your value, they recognize you are a good woman and a good man. However, because they fear the unknown, because they never had this, because their mind is being attacked with thoughts of this is too good to be true, things like this, don't just happen to a person like me, right? Because they are under attack of the enemy, right? Instead of coming out of agreement with the enemy, they come into agreement with the enemy, right? And they give in to these feelings, right? They allow the feelings of unworthiness and feeling like they don't deserve the best to overtake them and keep them away from their dreams and destiny, right? So God sent me here today to remind you that it's not that they're not taking advantage of you. Okay, He doesn't want us to interpret it that way. He wants us to see it for what it really is. What you're dealing with here is the feelings of unworthiness. It's an orphan identity. It's an orphan mindset. Okay, this mindset self-sabotages itself, right? This mindset and this identity, you know it see everything that's wrong. Now let me tell you something. Last night, God began to lead me to the book of First Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, and I just really began to do like a deep study, right? And one of the things that stood out to me as I was doing this deep study, because I do believe this is part of the thing, that this is part of the problem that's going on in your prodigal spouse. As I began to read, love is patient, love is kind, love keeps no records of wrong, right? When we talk about love keeping no record of wrong, right? See, yes, in a marriage, we are to forgive one another. That's why it say that love keeps no record of wrong. Soon as you feel like your husband or your wife done you wrong, we are to forgive, right? But also, this scripture also applies to when you are single, when you are an unmarried man or a woman, right? Scripture is telling us, okay, this is how you love yourself when you are an unmarried individual. You are to keep no record of wrong, because to constantly remind yourself of all the wrongs you have done in the past, that keeps you in bondage. It keeps you in prison. It keeps you never moving forward, but always going backwards, right? So we got to begin to understand scripture and then also do what the scriptures say. We got to apply scriptures to our life. That's wisdom, right? The application portion of it. So if scriptures say love keeps no record of wrong, you got to go ahead and forgive yourself. It's freedom and forgiveness. When you forgive yourself for all the hurt and the pain, for who you used to be and how you used to treat people, right? You got to begin to let these things go so that you can walk into freedom, so that you can begin to, um, feel worthy of the best. Because as long as you holding on to the past, as long as you keep reminding yourself of the past, it's almost as if you're doing the opposite of operating in love. You're actually operating now in self-hate. You're actually, each time you remind yourself of all the wrong you done in the past, right? Now you're punishing yourself. You're finding reasons why you don't deserve the best, right? We got to become aware of our actions and how the devil is, how we partner with the devil in defeating ourselves. Okay, so I thought that was amazing. When I discovered that revelation last night, as I was doing that study on love, and this is what we're dealing with in prodigal spouses. God is teaching them, love, his God's way of loving, the true love way, you know. And God is teaching us as well, love. But God, He sent me here to tell you and remind you that you're not being taken advantage of. Your spouse see your value. Your spouse know that you are a good woman. You are a good man. It's the fact that they never had this before, and because they never had this, right? They running from it. They fear the unknown. The very thing that they don't understand, or the very thing that they don't feel good enough for, they repel. They pull away from it. They avoid it, right? And so what's going on here, it has nothing to do with you. Okay, so don't take this personal. It has everything to do with what's going on inside of your God ordained spouse's heart and mind. Okay, so you stay in prayer. This is something that God is going to have to just deal with your spouse concerning, and also move them to another level of healing. Okay, so be encouraged in knowing that it's not you. They feel unworthy. Okay, and they up under some embarrassment, guilt, and shame because of how they treated you in the past. But know that they will they will come out of this. Okay, know that this is part of your spouse's process, because while they're going through this process, right? God is going to be speaking to them, encouraging them, healing them, right? This is part of their process. They got to go through this, okay? So don't feel like, oh my God, it's another delay. No, this is part of the process. It's part of the plan, and you're gonna have the victory in the end. Okay, so be encouraged. Do not give up. Stay on your post. Continue to cover your spouse in prayer, and know that this promise is coming around full circle. I am Taquila Coleman. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.